everyone. Welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Bud Elliott. That's Tom Fornelli. I'm Chip Patterson coming to you live at youtube.com/cover3 and everywhere you get your podcasts on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe, smash that like, and you see those sirens in your feed. You know exactly what that means. LSU is firing fourth-year coach Brian Kelly. As we are coming to you right now, the reports indicate that as this is very much a news that is breaking situation on a Sunday evening, a team meeting reportedly has been called for about 30 minutes from right now. But the great work of CBS Sports' Matt Zenitz reporting that LSU is indeed firing Brian Kelly. That would be after a 5-3 start to the 2025 season. That would have him at 34-14 as his record over the last 4 years. His buyout, we are north of $50 million. Of course, you learned that already by going to Brian Kelly, LSU buyout, Robbie Callan, CBS Sports, Brian Kelly, CBS Sports contract buyout, Robbie Callan. But clearly the Brian Kelly tenure was a failure, or else LSU would not be spending tens of millions of dollars at a minimum to move on from him. Was this the right play right now? Because the conversation throughout the day was like, are we going to serve up the offensive coordinator as a little bit of, meat? Are we going to let Brian Kelly, as we talked about on Saturday night, sit in this and have to deal with coaching the rest of the season? What do you make out of the decision to move on him now?
I mean, I think if you're LSU, like, you're spending the money either way, right? Like, you owe this guy the money. Do you have confidence that Brian Kelly is going to get this thing fixed? And by fixed, by LSU standards, that means like a team that can really compete for a national title, a team that, has a real shot to make the playoff and whose season isn't, by LSU standards over by Halloween, right? And that's just kind of what they have right now. And I think, if you're LSU, the answer is in some ways probably not. Like, I think they were doing some good things on the personnel side, like their recruiting class is pretty damn good, but that's a long way in the future. And like, this is the now, and it doesn't really seem like things are getting any better there. And you just lost to what? Mike Elko, who's in year 2 at Texas A&M. You're probably going to lose to Kalen DeBoer, who's in year 2. BK's in year 4, and he's had 4 years of NFL quarterback play and has nothing to show for it. So yeah, like, this is a weird fit from the start. I think it was a fit that could work in theory and didn't. So yeah, time to move on.
It's just wild. Like,
we had the governor get involved. I mean, the
governor has to be involved.
Yeah.
The governor got involved?
Yes.
They don't have a president right now. I'm pretty sure that's the
Oh.
reasoning, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get the governor on the horn and be like, "Hey, sir, can we spend $50 million to fire our coach? And is there any chance the state can give us some of that money?" I mean, it's wild. The buyouts are nuts. It was a shocking hire when it was made. It always felt like a weird fit. It is just, we've talked about it before. Brian Kelly saying he was leaving Notre Dame because he wanted to go somewhere he felt like he could win national titles. Notre Dame seems to be like it's capable of winning a national title right now, and he's fired after 4 years, or really 3.5 years. It was a bad move on his part as far as coaching wise. Money wise, he's doing just fine because now he's getting another $53 million or so. But just, yeah, it is. I mean, I picked this team to win the national title before the year, and I had 1,000,000% confidence in it when I made that pick. And now to be here on October 26th with Brian Kelly out the door on a Sunday night, just, yeah, it's wild.
Was there a result against Texas A&M that could have changed where we would be by 2026 I'm saying not being here now.
Like, is he still the coach in 2026 if they
if they lose respectably, but then lose to Bama, lose to Oklahoma, so they finish the year 6-6, 7-5?
Oh, well, then he's fired.
He's fired, right?
Yeah, they had to make the playoff.
Yeah. Even if they beat Texas A&M, they could still potentially finish 8-4, and then we probably make a coaching change. I don't want to be disrespectful to everything we had seen from this LSU team this year. They had been underperforming their talent. With the schedule that was remaining, I had kind of advanced to, we will probably have a different head coach. It was just the stunning way that happened in front of their home fans at night. It was a little bit like James Franklin losing to the teams that he should beat, right? Brian Kelly was 20-1 going into last night in night games in Tiger Stadium, and then to not just lose, but to get downright embarrassed. And how about this? Oh my gosh, I did not connect these dots well enough to be able to present it myself, so I apologize. But to have Brian Kelly get done in by two of his previous defensive coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Clark Lee and Mike Elko back to back. And Clark was asked in an interview recently, what's it like? You're going up against these guys, guys that you had coached with. Clark didn't say a lot of words about Brian Kelly, said a whole lot of words about Mike Elko. Oh man, so many words about how Mike Elko set him up for the position that he's in. I mean, respect, obviously, for Brian Kelly. But yeah, Brian Kelly done in by his own people. Literally, his tenure at LSU ended by two of his former defensive coordinators. And then to have the whole Tommy Moffitt situation where Mike Elko is giving credit to a 60-6 second half scoring differential in the last two games, where he credits the strength coach that Brian Kelly fired right after he was hired. Thick. I mean, just all of the reasons to get someone who is passionate about Louisiana State University football to give them reasons to start working on signing their name to that check.
I love a good strength coach excuse.
Tommy
Moffitt's very good. Tommy Moffitt's done very well at LSU. Now he's doing very well at Texas A&M. But I do love that. It's like, man, you know what really went wrong? If you'd have just kept Tommy Moffitt, we'd be 12-0.
No, but it's representative of the arrogance, right? Like he came in here.
Is it arrogance? Is it arrogance for bringing your own people?
You're going to bring your own strength guy. It just has to work. If the guy that you jettison is kind of like renowned and loved there,
for the record, I'm not speaking on expertise. I'm just painting the emotion of an LSU football fan who's trying to like really be motivated to actually move on this guy. And you are just putting together all of the pieces to make that story easier. I am not a strength coach expertise. I don't roll. I don't know if you've seen these noodle arms, but I don't roll in their offices all that often. Others do, and respect to them. But I need to know my lane, and I want to make it very clear and read into the record. I do not have any strength coach rankings, ratings, or opinions on that.
I think the bigger problems that Brian Kelly had at LSU were 2 years of whiffing on his defense as far as the transfer portal, and this year not having an offensive line capable of playing in the SEC, knowing that you were going to have to replace four guys along that offensive line. It was a failure to put together a roster capable of winning this league at a time when lots of other programs have been out there developing and spending money wisely in the transfer portal. You haven't. And I think that is the downfall of Brian Kelly, not the strength coach.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot that went
wrong.
Just
like, if you look at it, they have had some of the best units in college football over his tenure. Like, really good defense this year. Awesome offense 2 out of the 4 years. Pretty good one in another year. This year, like, they finally got the defense right, and the offense just completely craps the bed. It's just like the failure to have like competence and then competence plus on the other side that seems to be doing them. So I think, I mean, clearly, like, they can do better. Now, I think college football is a harder standard now. I don't think you should be expecting like 11-1 every year at LSU, but they could go 7-5. Like that's not going to work at LSU for the most part. When, like, did they play a big non-conference game this year? Yes, Clemson, but it wasn't actually that tough, right? Like, as we found out, Clemson kind of sucks. So
our colleague Damian Harris he's been on Brian Kelly's ass all season. He laid it out. The first 4-year records for each of the previous coaches was better.
Yeah.
How that happened?
They knew how to take care of the area. I mean, like, if you want to compare like coaching chops of Brian Kelly and Ed Orgeron, maybe Brian Kelly's a better quote unquote football coach, but he doesn't have the relationships in Louisiana that Ed Orgeron has. He doesn't know the area, doesn't know how to get those players and get them into LSU and giving a crap about LSU. And sometimes, Brian Kelly shows up like if you're from that state, you grew up rooting for that program. Like, yeah, he's the football coach, but do you think he really cares about your program the way you do?
I think he screwed this up big time last year, because last year they had an offense that was pretty damn good overall. Like, I know that they got banged up there at times, but remember his whole, like, we don't go out and buy players type thing.
Mhm.
Like, if they had gone out and bought players on last year's defense, because Baker came in and did a pretty good job overall, like with what they had, I think if they had added some more like really primetime pieces to last year's defense, I think they make the playoff. And like that, then we're probably not firing Brian Kelly. But instead, they kind of made this like late shift into high school recruiting more, which is admirable. But it felt like too little, too late, and probably like I think you should probably start high school earlier and then and add to the portal. And honestly, I mean, we could say what we want about Hugh Freeze, but I think their strategy to roster building has been optimal in process, but not result. If you look at what Auburn's done, like they went high school, high school, high school. They spent a ton in high school. They bought great recruiting classes, and then they went to supplement with the portal. Now, it so happens that they've absolutely totally botched the quarterback portal thing twice in a row. So you still got to get that right, in fairness. But man, I think if they had gone out and bought some guys last year and really actually spent real money in the portal to get impact guys last year, we're probably not sitting here tonight.
Mm.
Do you think we're sitting here tonight if they had convinced Bryce Underwood to stay?
No.
Ooh.
Because Bryce Underwood gives you hope. Like Bryce Underwood's like, hey, especially if the reason why he was there is remotely related to Brian Kelly, which it was probably in some ways related to Joe Sloan, who had done a really nice job, coaching QBs there. As the OC, hasn't been quite as good. I'm not sure how many guys are going to do a great job behind this offensive line and lack of a run game. But that's a great, Tom, I think you nailed it. Like do you think he'd still be there if they had Underwood?
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah.
Especially if like the threat of firing Kelly could mean Underwood hitting the portal.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the Lagway principle,
Mm-hmm.
But Lagway still got a year.
From last year.
Oh, yeah, from last. Yeah.
Right. Like,
so
hey,
losing Underwood.
This guy put up amazing games against Ole Miss and against LSU. If we fire Billy now, is he Texas A&M starting quarterback?
Well, Florida last year was also the Brian Kelly hit your head again. It was those 3 straight losses. It was blowing the lead against Texas A&M. You follow it up by getting pantsed by Alabama, and then you lose at Florida. And that Alabama game was at home. I mean, it's just they're truly 34-14. There haven't been a lot of losses, but buddy, there have been the wrong ones.
Also, like the reactions in some of the press conferences were probably not great for job security. Talking about how you need to appreciate this, and hey, there's nothing wrong with our red zone offense when they were like 104th in red zone scoring. Like that's not going to get it done.
We needed to run the ball. We did to win the game.
Who is this?
Sorry.
What?
We that's a good tweet. We can run that, right?
All right.
That's documented.
Yeah. Mikey, if you could
throw that up there. That's great.
But anyway, no, it's
not great. It's really that's good tweeting.
Losing Bryce Underwood to Michigan saved him $10 million in the short run and then cost him 15 in the long.
Tough.
And these are the finances of college football.
But okay. Actually, let's go ahead and hit a break. Then we'll jump back in. What's next for Brian Kelly? What's next for LSU? What are the moves here? We'll get into all that and more next. Back here on the Cover 3 podcast. Do we have the said tweet pulled up?
Please get it up.
Okay. We'll see. We're working on that. Well, how about, oh yeah, we got it.
There we go.
Oh yeah. Those are good. Those are good old embezzlement jokes. Louisiana, this ain't the first time Louisiana football,
Except
Louisiana State
not a
comes
joke
around.
when it came to LSU.
Yeah, not
it's
a joke. Not a joke. That was history is amazing. Thank goodness we still have it. Speaking of finances, so there is offset language, as you know, our buzzword of the 2025 football season is offset language. There is offset language. So if Brian Kelly does want to pursue immediate employment, that would lessen the financial burden for LSU. He also has, as I understand it, one of those buyouts that can come in installments, can be stretched out. We're not talking 50 million lump sum due in 60 days.
Is there not a portion that's due in 60 days? Okay.
The way that my understanding is that it is not as intimidating because of both offset and installments. Is Brian Kelly, does he want to work? Does he want to step right out of this? Because James Franklin went on College Game Day and said, I'm competing for championships and I want to keep competing for championships. And hello, let me shoot off these flares and let you know that if you want to compete for championships with James Franklin, holler at your boy.
God, let's see. When James was on Game Day, Nick was saying all the stuff that James wouldn't say for him. If Brian Kelly goes on Game Day, does Nick just sit there silent?
Yeah, 100%. They've got, because 16-minute mark might be too early, but you remember Brian Kelly and Garrett Nussmeier have the same agent. Brian Kelly and James Franklin, I believe, do not have the same agent.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's it. LSU's open. So
LSU is open.
LSU's open. Steve Sarkisian, Nick Saban, Urban Meyer.
Hey, listen, you're LSU.
Dabo Swinney.
You're a top 3 job in the country. You're the best job available right now. Swing for the freaking fences.
Let's go.
I mean, Brian Kelly's 64 years old. I think he could get another job if he wants one. But there is an ego thing there, not just with him, but with a lot of these coaches that have competed at the highest level. I know he didn't really compete at the highest level at LSU, but like, are you willing to drop down to like a G5 type job?
No,
even if it's a good one.
I think Brian could get a Big Ten job. I don't think he's going to get like an elite level program job. Like if Michigan State or Wisconsin came open, I think Brian Kelly could very much be in the thick of those job searches.
I just don't know what low level Big Ten jobs like could and would. I don't think that's gonna. You think that's gonna open this year? Maybe it does open this year. I don't know.
It might, and he's had plenty of success in that state when he was at Central or at Grand Valley
State.
Yeah.
I was thinking like if Fleck gets UCLA, could BK get Minnesota?
Yeah, but I don't know if he would take it.
I think Michigan State or Wisconsin would be the two that would come to mind right there. What about Penn State? So we think no Penn State?
I don't think Penn State's going to go that direction. Maybe he returns home and he leads UMass to glory.
Oh, buddy.
Now, I don't know where Brian Kelly's going to be next year. Like he could have a job, but it won't be Penn State. It won't be Florida. It would be maybe one that's not open yet, or like a middle Power 4 gig.
Yeah, but Grand Valley State, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, there is a footprint. Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So, if the right job is open, I could see him taking it.
Mm-hmm.
What about LSU?
North Carolina. He can go to North Carolina. I mean, he can be Bill's offensive coordinator when they fire Freddie Kitchens.
I'm not standing in the way.
I don't. Who ends up at LSU?
Yeah.
All right. Now this is interesting.
Yeah.
Is it a coach who already beat them this year?
Could be. Dabo Swinney. No. Lost to him.
Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Lane, Florida or LSU, I think LSU is the better job. I think Florida might be more along Lane's interests.
I don't know. I don't know how Lane would lean there, or if Lane is just going to end up staying at Ole Miss.
Which he could.
Which he could.
Yeah.
My thought is that he seems to have his pick of amazing jobs, and whether he will have his pick of LSU or Florida, or we'll see. But man, he's a top candidate for either one of those jobs. James Franklin, no go at LSU.
I can't say it's a no-go because the AD is just obsessed with hiring big names regardless of fit.
I'm scratching off Dan Lanning.
The Jimbo hire at, I think you can excuse him for the Jimbo hire at A&M because, the guy had won a national title. Those of us that were covering that program on a day-to-day basis were like, this guy is cooked. This is A&M fans are going to be so pissed with this hire. And we first guessed it. It's like he's not the same coach he was before all the stuff went down, So, but they kind of ignored that, and they figured they'd money whip everybody. They were doing NIL before NIL was a thing, right? And still couldn't win. And then BK was always kind of a weird fit, but I thought it could work.
Saban on paper is a weird fit at LSU, and he changed the entire trajectory of the football program. So I don't need you necessarily to be from the state of Louisiana to work at LSU, but clearly there is also some
Just
tact.
don't come in giving off airs.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's I don't know what job Lane would pick. I think LSU is a better job. Florida might be like Tom said, more to his interests. They have a pretty good coach in their backyard. And it doesn't fit Scott Woodward's idea of let's just go hire the biggest name. But the guy...
John Summerall.
Right. And they did not do the Napier thing because they didn't want to hire a coach from a G5 in the state of Louisiana.
Oh, let's go in the time machine, bud. Let's jump in the time machine to 2021. Mikey, can we get it on the screen? This is just prescient beyond belief. You want to read it for the audio listeners?
Yeah, it's from 2021. If Florida hires Billy Napier after in-state LSU showed no interest, one rival is going to look smart and the other will probably look dumb in a few years. Not sure who. Turns out maybe both.
Both. Yeah.
Both. That's the science of hiring a football coach right there. You really have no damn idea. You can hire Urban Meyer and you might not win a national title. You don't know.
You could hire Urban Meyer and he can kick your kicker, allegedly. Flame out gloriously. Any name. Is Jimbo Fisher a candidate at LSU?
No.
Okay.
No. Joe Brady won the national title there as offensive coordinator, doing really well still in the NFL. I don't know if he's actually interested in coming back into running a college program or not. I think he'd rather be an NFL head coach, and he's probably on track to get one of those jobs soon enough. So I don't know if he would do it, but I think you kick the tires. I think you kick the tires on Clark Lee. I think you kick the tires on all the typical names that you would expect to be in line for a job like this right now.
I would call Notre Dame's guy again.
Marcus Freeman?
Mm-hmm. I don't know that he would take it, but I would call it.
But yeah.
Not a great recruiter, obviously, and he's at his alma mater. But is Jeff Brom going to get more in play here with this many openings?
Oh, maybe. We'll see. Jeff's been around, man. Jeff, that's a what does Jeff want? And I'm not close enough to him to have a good beat on that, but. Yeah, he's a good enough coach. Again, it's my tagline, but I'll say it forever. He got Purdue to the Big Ten title game. I don't care about Big Ten West or whatever you want to put on that. He put together one of the winningest streaks of Purdue football since Joe Tiller. So I'd put him on any list for any job to at least gauge his interest.
Two more. Eli Drinkwitz, if we're mentioning for Florida, the guy does a really good job at Missouri, obviously. They're not going to have a nice finish to their season with both quarterbacks out, but he's done a really good job there. And Brent Key. If he's kind of a saving guy, right? They may want to get back to that model. Or do you take big swings here? Like, do you call Nick? Do you call Urban?
Yeah.
You know what I would do, honestly? I'm paying 50-something million in a buyout. I'd probably go for somebody who's not an established big name, somebody I feel like I could get for a little cheaper, somebody a little more young, somebody energetic, whether that's like a Joe Brady or even Glenn Schumann from Georgia. Like hiring Georgia's defensive coordinator at Oregon seemed to work pretty well for Oregon so far. You kind of have, like, it's not turnkey, but I feel like if there is a program in college football that's kind of a turnkey operation, it's LSU. Because, Barton had used to say on the show all the time, what did he say, Chip? What are the colors of every single high school in Louisiana?
He said, and he painted the picture. If you've been at one of these before, when a football stadium is going to hold 5 state title games through the day, they're going to start at like 10 a.m. and they're going to go through the day. And he said about every damn classification, the 1AA, the 2AA, the 3A, the 4A, there's always a team with purple and gold and or they're named the Tigers. Mm-hmm. Like it is just like the whole high school football system is to breed the best players to go to LSU.
So bring in somebody who can establish one side of the ball for you, who will recruit like crazy and bring in that talent. And then, don't give them a contract with a giant buyout. Just give them a good contract.
So Dillingham
would be a great hire at LSU, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really do think that because of Tom, you said top 3 job, right?
At worst. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're dealing with a top 3 job, I will say any name. Sure, you're a candidate for LSU.
Mm-hmm.
You might be 40th on their power rankings, but yeah,
you will consider it for sure.
Yes, yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Did we mention Clark Lee?
Yeah,
yes.
we did. Okay. And somebody mentioned this earlier in the tailgate, posing the question: is Eli Drinkwitz a flight risk? This is incredibly unfair to Missouri fans and to Eli Drinkwitz, but reading the language on his face in the post-game press conference on Saturday night was someone who very much understood the season's probably like this is going to be a tough year the rest of the way. And he'd said, but we're still in the mix for the playoff. We're probably out for the SEC, but we got to rally around our young quarterback and we got to, figure out a way to get this thing done. Like, ooh, if Missouri is conveniently wrapping things up around Thanksgiving, that could change the Eli Drinkwitz. Just, sometimes it's the timing and you never know what it's going to be like. Eli might be a big candidate for LSU, might be a big candidate for Florida, whether it happens, whether Missouri, gets him to stay. I think that he's definitely going to be very much on the table.
You're in the chat saying that LSU isn't one of the top 3 jobs in the country. Did you just start paying attention to this sport in 2021?
I think you could make a list of top 3. It doesn't include LSU, but to assume LSU is not top 3
wrong.
is like, yeah, like, I mean, Ohio State, you could go like Ohio State, Bama, Georgia. And I wouldn't say like that's wrong necessarily, like
I'd rather have LSU than Texas.
I'd rather have LSU than Bama. I mean, Bama was under Nick Saban.
I think we're split.
I know Bear Bryant was there, and I know Stallings were there, but that was in the long, long ago. I'm talking about the modern era of college football. This program has had 3 different coaches win national titles. Les Miles, Ed Orgeron, and Nick Saban. Okay? And then Nick Saban went to Alabama and won more. But he did it at LSU first, and then 2 other guys were able to do it there after him. Like, what other school can claim that in this era of sports?
The
Ohio State.
A lot of folks in the chat are saying Kelvin Shepard, the Lions DC.
Ooh.
He was at LSU for a year. I mean, he obviously played there, but he was there as a player after his NFL career for the COVID year.
People like him at the NFL. I mean, Tom, you're going to have more Detroit Lions knowledge than I will, but don't people generally respect his sort of like what he's done with that Lions defense this year?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, yeah, the Lions defense is, I think it's a Dan Campbell operation more than anything. It's nothing against Shepard. I just feel like the culture in that franchise right now is just kind of established.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go get the Saints head coach, right?
Kellen Moore?
Like, what's a better job, LSU or the Saints?
LSU.
LSU, right. The guy was just the OC for the Super Bowl champion, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I want Kellen Moore, though. I mean, it's not exactly working well for the Saints to this point.
Wait, Kellen Moore's the head coach of the Saints right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real, like, was he that was an interim?
The Boise State quarterback.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah. He's
like they hired him and they're
was he in
from
Dallas?
The reading when I was cramming pre-show, I was like, oh, the Saints are screwed forever with this salary cap stuff. So maybe he jumps.
Cliff Kingsbury? Anybody? If we want to, relive old dreams.
Cliff's not going to recruit well enough there. You have to, like, for LSU to be where it wants to be, you need to have a dogged recruiting staff, which is why, again, I would go the younger route. I wouldn't go for the 60, 50-year-old guy unless I know that guy is going to recruit like crazy, which is one reason why I think you'd have to consider James Franklin, because James Franklin would recruit. You know that for a fact.
I think James Franklin would fit what LSU. I think he could hit the ground running at LSU.
Do you think that they might go like Oklahoma model with the GM dictating to the head coach?
Depends on who they hire.
They could. I mean, I think
the recruiting's been pretty good the last 2 years, like high school wise. Like they, even under BK, who's not an amazing recruiter, that kind of fits Tom's idea of you don't need to go crazy expensive on this, but that's very antithetical to what their AD has done.
Well,
and point out.
Okay, hey, hold on. A lot of people think Lashley's really happy at SMU, and from everything I've heard, he is. And I think he's probably a little too close to Gus to like get Auburn. And I don't think I would leave SMU to take Arkansas. Is this a job SMU needs to be worrying about?
Yeah.
I
think SMU needs to be worried about Florida too.
Yeah, I would agree.
Would you say if I am Scott Woodward, I would look at that stat Bud dropped on the reaction show last night about me being responsible for hiring the two guys with the biggest buyouts. And I might say, you know what, maybe this third time I try a different route.
I also, buddy, this is reckless. Now this might be not ready for, we should have buried this in an instant reaction show, like an hour and 42 minutes in. But when you have this kind of rallying of resources to make the move, it also means we've got a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I do not think that the athletic director individually will be wielding the scepter. Is that a fair thing to assume, given what we're talking about, to make it happen?
I don't know enough about their power structure.
Yeah, I mean, think about this, all the smoke all day about high-level conversations are being had about the future of Brian Kelly. Things are trending towards, there's just, I feel like there's a group chat. I feel like there's a telephone tree. I feel like there's a lot of people who are going to have a say here. So it could be another crazy, splashy head coach. But I don't know if I'm going to put it just at Scott Woodward's feet on this one, though his trend historically speaks for itself. So anybody else we want to get on the record?
Every coach in the country.
Bruce Feldman said Matt Campbell, apparently.
Yeah, again, make it sure. And if I'm Matt Campbell, hell yeah. Matt Campbell's a good football coach. Matt
if you're
Campbell,
LSU, are you excited by Matt Campbell?
No.
Neither am I. If I'm LSU.
No.
But
I love
if
Matt
I'm like Michigan or something, then yeah.
Yeah. Penn State, yeah. LSU,
right.
No. Especially because LSU just hired the Midwest coach. And now here we are, 4 years and $50 million later.
John Summerall. He's right there.
I think Summerall would be a very good hire.
Dak Daniels in the chat says Cristobal. I don't think Cristobal's leaving Miami.
I think Cristobal's superpower is being at Miami.
Yeah.
Mario Cristobal can be, in my opinion, the most powerful version of himself in the college football world by being the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. If he wants to go to the NFL or something, sure. That can be another conversation for another day. But in college football, it ain't going to get much better for Mario than being the head coach at Miami.
Campbell's also like not having the season to get hired off.
No.
Like if they were making a playoff run, sure, but no, not now.
Yeah.
Um,
Below 2 double-digit leads to BYU at home.
Did they take a look at Golesh?
I don't think it gets there.
Okay. I think I agree. They probably swing big.
Or just go ahead.
Possibly unpopular opinion. I don't feel like that offense is meant for these programs.
I mean, Tennessee's done a good job modifying it now.
Mm-hmm. But do you look at Tennessee as a title contender?
Yeah, I think it in the right year. Yeah, I think they bring in talent like about that way. Like given the flattening of the sport, yeah, I think so. Plus, he was calling it the 1 year where it was just basically unstoppable there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was the play caller here, right?
Of the 22 season?
22, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, to me, and this is my observations, I'm
Dan
wrong
Lanning's
a
not
lot.
leaving Oregon, by the way. Like,
yeah, Dan
in
Lanning's
the
not
chat, like, guys, no. Like, there's a reason we don't bring that up.
But to me, that's just an offense that when it runs up against the kind of elite defenses you're going to see in the college football playoff, it gets shut down.
I've also still got the nightmares of not being able to protect the lead at Memphis on Saturday.
Yeah, but that could happen to anybody.
Is Zach Taylor? I just looked him up. He's the Bengals coach.
Yeah.
Yes.
I assume that's a joke then.
I'm guessing a Bengals fan. They lost to the Jets today.
Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that sounds like a Georgia fan who's been dropping Mike Bobo in the chat for the last 37 minutes.
All right. So if you wanted to go NFL, I mean,
you don't go NFL. You're gonna have to wait too long, unless you've got somebody who's ready to drop everything right now.
Todd Monken did a pretty good job at Georgia.
Yeah.
Ravens might be out of the playoff race in a few more weeks.
Georgia just might bring Todd Monken home.
They might.
Is the job too big for Brian Hartline?
Yes.
Certainly fits the recruiting model.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have more of a track record as a coordinator, but we have seen hires where guys weren't coordinators or play callers of any significance before getting the head coaching gig who turned out pretty well. One of them lost to LSU this year, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if Penn State's taking a swing at the guy, you call Matt Rule?
Yeah. Sure.
Is that too Midwestern Brian Kelly?
I think that's too Midwestern Brian Kelly.
Again,
I do feel like after swinging and missing on Brian Kelly to that extent, we are definitely, there's going to be like an overcorrection toward this is going to be somebody from the South, somebody with ties, maybe not directly to the state, but this is going to be a Southern coach.
I mean, I don't think of Jed Fish as a Southern guy, but like he obviously went to Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't need an accent. He just needs experience coaching in the South.
If it gets to Matt Rule, that would be extremely interesting. I would look forward to hearing what conversations got us there. You know, we've mentioned a lot of coaches who I think would say yes. I just don't know what order LSU is going to go in.
That's people are saying Lincoln Riley in the chat. That's
I would do that just to see the reaction from LSU fans.
I mean, that would just be funny because of Lincoln Riley's I am not going to LSU the day before he leaves for USC.
Going spelled Geaux.
Yeah.
But also because you hired the guy from Notre Dame who couldn't win at the Premier Blue Blood, but we'll get him to win here, to go hire the guy who can't win at the Premier Blue Blood program, but we'll get him to win here.
Yeah, give the keys to somebody who maybe hasn't had these resources. See what they can do. If you can win a title with Les Miles, Oklahoma State coach, and with Ed Orgeron, you can give it to somebody who maybe hasn't been in that position before and see what happens.
Hire Summerall or Schumann. That's what I'm doing.
The more I think about it, the more I bet you they take a swing at Brent Key.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another good example. Think he might be a good coach. He's never had the opportunity to run a program like this.
Yeah.
Give him the shot. I would take all of these over a John Gruden. I would take all of these over
John Gruden.
An Urban Meyer. I mean, I'm just trying to think of like, what is the opposite of let's give somebody a crack at like, being able to really operate. Not, again, like you said, Tom, not turnkey, but man, oh man, there's a lot of advantages that can work in your favor at LSU.
It is funny to me because like Urban Meyer does get mentioned, obviously, because he's Urban Meyer and doesn't have a job. But I feel like Urban would be miserable coaching in this era. I mean, he was miserable coaching when he was still able to run everything.
Yeah.
Now, when the players had power and money over him, I think he would lose his mind.
We saw that in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, anything else we want to get? I mean, we're going to keep talking about this. Again, this is the Louisiana State University football job is open in the same hiring cycle where the University of Florida football head coaching position is open, and Penn State, and more to come. So, yeah.
Does this impact any other school's decisions?
It could. I mean, if you're Auburn, Florida and LSU are open, so you're not going to get your top choice.
Well, unless their top choice is John Summerall, which I think it might be, actually.
Well, then I don't know. Depends who your top choice is.
Like I've got an Auburn buddy who's pretty plugged. He's like, dude, Pat Summerall, John Summerall is the next Pat Dye.
He's dialed in.
He's the next Pat Dye. Yeah. Which
Yes,
I actually think he'd probably kill it at Auburn, to be honest. But
me too. Hey, that's the OG Troy boy. You think OG Troy boy don't understand how to work his way around?
Uploaded in the chat
would be
says
great with the boosters.
Kentucky thinks Summerall is theirs. No.
Not if those jobs are open. He's not.
If you wanted Summerall in your Kentucky, you should have hired him out of Troy.
And no Willie Fritz, the former Tulane head coach.
Maybe, but that's not a fit to me as far as
I only think it's not a fit because it's hard to go from the 60-plus-year-old head coach to the 60-plus-year-old head coach.
And also,
the chat's saying a lot of Dion. I definitely don't think Dion is a candidate. No.
But Bill Belichick,
content though.
Bill Belichick has a low buyout right now.
I think Manny Diaz would do well there. By the way,
shake the world up, Scott. Scott, I know you're a big fan of the Cover 3 podcast. You can shake up the college football world by bringing Bill Belichick to LSU.
And remember, you're not just getting Bill, but it's a package deal with Jordan
and Lombardi.
I mean, look, Joe Brady's interesting. Manny Diaz, I don't think we'll get it, but I think he would do well there.
Chip Kelly.
That would be no. All right, it's like how many parallels here? Doesn't like recruiting. Last name is Kelly, older guy
from the northeastern sort of region also, in general.
To be clear, Chip Kelly wouldn't want this job. Chip Kelly passed up on Florida to take UCLA for the very same reasons he wouldn't want to work the LSU job. He just wants to go call plays somewhere and have fun and be a football coach. He doesn't want to have to do all the other crap.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is will they go pro model where the GM calls the shots? That's probably going to dictate, which I don't think they will, but maybe they will.
Barton Simmons to LSU.
If they do that, I assume it'll just keep Austin Thomas, but I could be wrong. Also, to circle back on the is LSU a top 3 job debate, I think it very arguably is. I don't think they have I don't think they have the money advantage that they had maybe under Saban,
But they did just spend $50 million to make their coach go away.
This is true. Yeah, they're not poor.
Yeah. We will continue this conversation. Yeah.
Colin Klein?
I don't know about Colin as a recruiter, so I couldn't really comment on that. Is Colin a good recruiter?
He's not bad, yeah. But plus he's also going to be in a playoff race. Mm-hmm. A&M's playoff odds got pulled off the board.
Mm-hmm. They're in.
Woo!
Yeah.
I declared it. Hit the desk. It's in. Them and Ole Miss.
Sharpie. Well, maybe we'll do that as upon further review. Who's Sharpied into the college football playoff?
Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Ole Miss.
Oh, save it for the show.
Tom,
you asked the damn question.
I said maybe that's a pun further review.
I think monkey. Don't we go earlier than all the other shows anyway?
What, at 11?
Yeah.
I don't know when the other shows go.
Yeah, what other shows?
Those losers.
I think we're out first.
I'm sorry. I focus on us. Yeah.
There are other shows. Why?
What? All right, we will be back on Monday. In just a little bit, 11 a.m. Eastern time with, upon further review, one last look back at week 9 in college football, our final look at the week that was, more on the coaching carousel, and then we will spin it ahead Tuesday. We'll be on CBS Sports Network getting you set for the week ahead in the Big Ten. Big game breakdown on Wednesday, then week 10 locks on Thursday. It's spooky season. So come and join us at youtube.com/cover3. And you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Fornelli. You can follow him at Bud Elliott 3. You can follow me at Chip _Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Oh, get the gumbo going.